Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road. It's the first touch, strong connection. It lays deep in your soul. Feel the kindness strongly coming.
Hey, it's Nancy Yearout, and welcome to Nancy's Psychic View on the High Road to Humanity. And today we have a fabulous guest. KathyHarmon-Luber is here. And Kathy, welcome to High Road to Humanity.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm excited you're here. Now, she's got an interesting story, you guys. She has a book out that's called Suffering to Thriving. And she's going to tell us her story of how she really overcame her pain and about pain management. We're going to talk about sound. We're going to talk about healing, meditation. She's written this really cool book. Do you have a copy of it handy?
I don't have it in front
Okay.
of me.
Okay, that's all right. But I'm just telling you, this is a really good show to share for anybody who's going through any kind of pain, because she has so many great solutions, and it's all about how you approach it and how you think about it. So I want to just say this is going to be a good one. Before we get into it, though, you guys, I don't know how many of you watched the movie Leave the World Behind. I was sitting here Saturday night, so it was on Netflix. And so I turned it on. Here's the headline: Leave the World Behind shoots to #1 on Netflix, but viewers lodge complaint on social media. Now, let me give you a little tidbit of what this is about. The film is an apocalyptic drama starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, and Kevin Bacon. It was produced by Higher Ground Productions, the founder of former U.S. President Barack Obama and his wife, Michelle. So this gets really interesting. Adapted from the 2020 novel of the same name by Rumaan Alam, Leave the World Behind follows a society that unravels after technological infrastructure from phones to TVs start to collapse. And
Ooh.
now I'm not going to give this away, but this stuff could really happen. And here are some of this is on the review agitator website. Rotten Tomatoes Leaves the World Behind boasts a critic score of 75% positive, while the audience score lags at just 42%. Now, it was a good movie. It was interesting. It made you think. What I got out of it, I'll let you guys watch it, but what I got out of it is that we all need to stick together. Because what they try to do, I feel, in this movie is divide us. So I'll leave it at that. But everybody needs to watch it just because it's really interesting and it's controversial right now. And you're going to have to see this, right, Kathy?
Absolutely. I wrote it down. It's
Oh.
going to be on my Netflix list.
Well, let me tell you guys who KathyHarmon-Luber is. She's a certified sound therapy and sound healing practitioner. And I just want to say, I believe in the power of healing with sound. She's a Reiki Master. She's an inspiring author, a wellness guide whose passion is helping people navigate the challenging terrain on the healing journey. So last year, Kathy launched her best-selling book. It's Suffering to Thriving. It's your toolkit for navigating your healing journey, how to live a more healthful, peaceful, joyful life. And you guys, she has appeared in Yoga Magazine, Authority Magazine, MindBodyGreen.com, Women's World Magazine, numerous podcasts and radio shows. And we're just glad she's here today. And Kathy, I guess I just want to hear your story. December 8th, 2016. You felt an electric shock bolting through your lower back, and it took your breath away.
It did indeed, Nancy. It was the fourth time this had happened to me. I was diagnosed in my 20s. I was 21, in fact, and told that I had the spine of an 80-year-old woman because of hereditary spinal issues. Yeah. I had like 7 different spinal diseases that are really kind of complicated, but I've been navigating that. And the thing about it is I've always looked to complementary medicine to work, in collaboration with Western medicine, things like energy healing, sound healing, Reiki, the whole thing. I had really dialed it in. I was in a good place. I had been doing all the things from acupuncture and sound healing and Reiki to the right supplementation and chiropractic and physical therapy, all the things I needed to do. I was in a really good place.
Okay.
And then this disc ruptured. And normally it would take me 2 to 3 months to get over one of these things. And I'd be back. I have a very active lifestyle. I was hiking and biking and swimming, 3 hours a week, just the week that this happened. Right. And so it was really surprising in a way, and in another way, not. My intuition said, you need to be more careful. And I wasn't. Bottom line was, this happened that morning, like a year ago, basically. And I thought it would take me 2 or 3 months to get over it. And I was okay with that. I knew the drill. It didn't. I was bedridden for 5 years.
I know.
It was the worst. It was the most extraordinary pain I'd ever had in my life. And unlike, sports injuries where I've had a lot of bad sports and dance injuries and things, but it's really intense and then it goes away. This was not going away. And I was working with doctors and orthopedic surgeons and neurosurgeons and all that. It was not operable because of the complexity of my spine. And so, I began to go to that really dark place of like, asking all the wrong questions. What if this is my life forever? What if this doesn't ever go away? Like,
Mm.
what am I going to do? I'm young, I'm active, like I have a job,
Yeah.
and how
Right.
am I going to deal with all of this? And
Right.
so you go down the dark downward spiral of all of that. And I realized very quickly I could become a very angry, bitter, hopeless, depressed person, or I could choose something different. And that was the beginning of the lesson. I had been on my spiritual journey for decades. When I was in my 20s, it started in earnest in a big way, and largely because of these spinal issues and autoimmune things. But
Mhm.
it set me on this journey. So I had a really good foundation of spiritual practice. But all of that changes when you go through something that's
Yeah.
just so devastating and debilitating. I had to say to myself, and my husband certainly said to me, like, you know what you need to do. You need to do it. You need to, listen to more music, find more sound healing on your computer. I was
Yeah.
literally flat on my back. I was meditating a lot, but it just wasn't working for a while. And I realized I have to figure out what my medicine is. And I knew music and sound were my medicine. I had to really dig down and make that part of my daily practice. I I had to meditate more. I had to find things like positive affirmations, which
Yeah.
I wasn't big into affirmations, but I had to find things to hold on to. I started to look to all my favorite authors and find inspiring quotes. And I
Mhm.
love the Buddhist monk Pema Chodron. I always remembered from her books her saying, you have a choice in every moment, and the choice is between love and fear,
Right.
love and hate, right?
Right.
And so it's like, and I was like, no, I don't have a choice in this situation. This is just terrible. And then I was like, well, wait a second, Kathy, you know better than this. You
Yeah.
do have a choice. And so I decided to choose. I decided that suffering, unnecessary suffering, is a choice. There are certainly plenty of things in the world, war-torn countries and all the things that are real suffering. There's also the unnecessary suffering in our minds.
Hmm.
We have to make our minds our medicine. And I really held on to that. It was like I curated my thoughts, not fake positive thinking for sure, but like acceptance of this
You
moment.
changed your programming. You
I
changed how you
did.
thought. Yeah. I
Change
have,
the
I
narrative.
have a quick question. I've always read Louise Hay because,
Yes.
and I wondered if you read any of her books, How to Heal Your Life, because she tells you,
Yes.
because every time I have an ailment, this is just the truth. I have her books, and if I have something, I will go and look and see what emotion
Yes.
associated with. Now, as you're speaking, I guess my biggest question to you is, I realize this is hereditary, but you can break the cycle and you have broken the
I have.
cycle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so did you like look to, I'm just curious, did you look to any of her stuff knowing that that was the correlation?
No, well, it's interesting. I had read Louise Hay decades before, this particular thing happened. And
Right.
so I kind of had it well ingrained within me. And about spinal things, she says lack of support. And was that my life?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was
totally.
wondering.
Yes,
That's,
yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Totally. And so I had to examine that
Mhm.
and really rewrite the program and figure out, okay, I didn't have support in some areas of my life. And I had to say, I have to be there to support myself. That was one of the biggest lessons. And, as she and numerous wise people over centuries have said, we have the power to heal within us.
That's
And I
right.
call that inner healer,
Right.
intuition, right?
Right.
We
Right.
know how to heal. I get healing messages and things in my dreams often. Like I'll wake up and there's a word and I'm like, what is that? And I go research and it's like, oh yeah, it's exactly what I need right now. It's very
Yeah.
interesting
Right.
and I just believe in all of this. And so it's not a surprise, certainly. And this whole inner healer thing, it's like it's what we need to remember because when we go through something that's really a major disruption or crisis in our lives, we
Mhm.
tend to forget that, or at least I do. And a lot of my clients do. It's like we tend to say, oh, this is terrible. We go to the bad place of saying the wrong questions, Nancy. It's like, why is this happening to me? This is a
Right.
terrible thing. What is going to happen to me? Is it always going to be like this? What is going to become of my life? This is the end of my life. I mean, it's the downward spiral, right? And
Right.
so we have to break that with better questions. What if this is an opportunity? This is what I actually ask myself. What is the if this is an opportunity for me to heal myself and show myself yet again that the healing power is within. I've
Right.
reversed autoimmune where my rheumatologist said you will never do that, and I have. I have I have healed my back without surgery, which, they told me in my 20s I'd be in a wheelchair for life by the time I was 35. I'm older than that. I'm not in a wheelchair. And so, it's one of those things that I think we have to constantly remind ourselves of that we have this
We have the
amazing,
power.
yeah, we do.
Yeah, we really do. And I
So it was
like
that lesson.
yeah, you say, well, it's amazing. You're everything in your book, I'll just tell you, and everything you're speaking about is everything that I talk about.
Yes,
Um,
I
yeah, it's that people have to learn about the spoken word. You weren't
yes.
doing affirmations. Look how affirmations changed, what you're saying, that vibration. I mean, all of this. And I love how you say suffering's a choice because you say suffering can become a prison of your own making within because we insidiously I can't read my own writing, trap ourselves, but it's really a choice, I guess is what I want to say.
It
um
is.
People can decide and a lot of people, I have to say this, I've seen this over time, they get something and they get sick and they're like, oh, that's it, and they get it in their head that there is no cure and they die because it's the mindset.
It's the mindset.
So
It's why I say your mind is your medicine, right?
yeah, so I want to know what came first. What started to work first? Was it the music? Was it the meditation? Was it the combination? What really did it for you? I'm just curious.
It was everything, Nancy. It
Really?
truly was. I just kept doing everything that I could. It began in the morning with meditation
Right.
and writing down my dreams. And if I got downloads, and as I was writing the book, like I have to say, I didn't start off writing the book. I started off, I've always been a journaler since I was a little girl. So I just started drawing on all of those quotes by my favorite authors and going back and rereading books. And then I would just do my contemplative writing about them. And then after about a year or two, I started saying, I think there's wisdom here for other people. It helped me so much. But I wrote down everything that I did. Part of it was asking the right questions. Part of it was looking at my life as not inability or disability,
Right.
but what can I do right now? obviously I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get out of bed for months. I could not even walk to the bedroom door. Like it was
Yeah, and
just,
how did your family, I want to, and I don't want to, interrupt your train of thought too much, but I'm curious what your husband, do you have children? I mean, how did your family handle this? And
yeah. My husband is an angel. I have to say, I couldn't have gone through this without him and the love of my friends who brought us food and groceries and just helped him out. We have a we don't get
wow.
street delivery of mail. He has to go to the post office. People who went and got our mail for us, people who made us soup, all of that. But my husband was amazing, and he would not let me go to the depths of despair. He's like, of course you're going to get better. I said, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to. This is just going on for way too long. And my doctor said, maybe, maybe not. There's a
Don't you
50%.
hate that? I wish they'd be more, and I just want to say,
Yeah,
that is the
say it.
worst. Well, it's true because you go to the doctor and they're negative Nellies, and we don't
Yeah,
need negative Nellies. We need positive, we need like, yes, you can overcome anything.
that's
And
right.
they have got to change their mindset.
Yes, there are
That's all
good
I'm going to
doctors.
say.
I mean, what I would say
Yes.
to our
Yeah.
listeners is surround yourself with the good doctors. My doctors now are positive, they're encouraging, they're inspired what I've done and by what other patients of theirs have done. And they're great. They're my cheerleaders, right? And
But you had to probably switch to get to that point.
oh my gosh, my
Yeah.
rheumatologist, I left my rheumatologist 4 years ago because he said to me, you know what? And I said, what, doctor? He says, you're going to die of pain. Yeah, he said that to me. And his
What
assistant
a
was there
horrible thing to
taking
say.
notes. And she just looked at him like, you really said that to this woman? Like, how can you say that to a person,
Where's
right?
the compassion? Where is the
Yeah,
compassion?
thank
And
you.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. I feel like the compassion has gone by the wayside. It's like you go in, they look at you, you get your symptoms, and here's the pill.
Yeah. I think the key is finding doctors who have compassion. And I am surrounded by doctors who have compassion. They're marvelous. But that wasn't always the case. I mean,
Right.
I did go through a lot of doctors who just no bedside manner, wouldn't answer questions, said these terrible things. You will be in a wheelchair. You're going to die of pain. But what I would say is there are doctors like doctors of functional medicine,
Yeah.
naturopaths,
Yeah. Find
osteopaths.
them. Find them. Yeah.
Find them, and
Yeah.
they tend to look at the whole person. They don't look at us as that one symptom. You are not your spinal disability. You're a
Mhm.
whole person, right? And they do look at that and try to heal you from the standpoint of your whole entire body and your life. It's your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual life.
All of it. It's all of
It's
it.
all of it.
All of
And
it
some
together.
doctors understand that and some don't. And I would just say to people, if you don't have that doctor and you are going through something, anything, small or large,
Yeah. Move
temporary
on.
or chronic, move on. Yep,
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly.
I have to say the biggest thing in your book, well, of course, affirmations, because I'm huge on affirmations and visualizations, because I believe, we are creators and we are creating our own reality right now as
Yes.
we speak.
Yes,
But what,
exactly.
but what I really liked was you talking about the thriving mindset. And you say meds are not the only way. Healing begins with the right mindset. And
Yes,
it's what we're just talking about. And I wanted to ask you, how did you, well, maybe obviously you reprogrammed your mind,
I did.
but
Yeah.
what were some of the steps that maybe you could share with the audience, I guess?
Yeah, I'd love to. There are a few. And what I will say to our listeners is my book is 38 short chapters. Each one is a tool,
Right.
right? In the toolkit. So there's something for everyone. But what I would say is the first thing is what is your medicine? Like music and sound are mine, and nature is mine, and art and creativity of any kind, the writing, the art, the singing, everything. I know what my medicine is. It's different for all of us. We're all unique. There's
Mm.
no one formula, but the point is find your medicine. The second is ask the right questions. Like I was alluding to earlier, look at your healing journey. I like to say our healing journey is embedded in our life's journey, which is embedded in our soul's journey.
Mhm.
And that means often the healing journey, and that could be emotional healing or healing from trauma or
Right.
spiritual healing, not just physical. Our healing journey can be a portal to a new life. It can be
Yes.
a portal to finding mission and purpose, as it was
Yeah.
for me. Like, I've always worked for nonprofit organizations that make the world a better place. That and my creativity, I thought, I'm good. I know my purpose. Guess what? Different level. Whole
Yeah.
new,
Yeah.
whole new, um, whole new path on the healing journey, spiritual journey. And so I believe right now, it's for all of us, we all have gifts. Now is the time. Our planet needs us. Our earth is in peril. With everything going on in the world needs people to bring their gifts forward. And maybe your gift is making a delicious bread that you take to your neighbors, right? Or
Right.
maybe your gift
Exactly.
is sewing quilts to take to the women's shelter, whatever your gift is, or maybe it's something grand, maybe it's something huge that will change the world on a grand scale. Find your gift. Often we find that through the disruptions or crises that we go through. And so I encourage people to sort of take a different perspective. Wayne Dyer once said, I love him, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at will change.
That's
And
right.
that's so true
That's
with
right.
everything in life, right?
Well, what I see is you reinvented yourself, and that's what we have to do.
Oh, yeah.
You have to make yourself a new person.
Mhm.
And we are little creators. And I love how every day is a new day. And you
Yeah.
have created a new person by your thoughts, and it's changed your physical body,
Yeah.
and it's changed you completely. And look what it's done to you as far as spiritual. I
Yes.
mean, you've just gone, a long way on your spiritual journey. I mean,
Yeah. And I had
you get
been a
this
long
stuff.
way. I had been a long way. And I thought I was there. I thought, okay,
Yeah.
nice spiritual place. I'm comfortable with my spirituality. It's part of my daily life. It's like, I didn't have a clue. There
Right.
was so much more than that. And
Right.
part of how I did that, Nancy, is flat on my back. It was like I decided to look, this is another tool, not at inability, but ability. And I literally made a list of everything I could not do. I could not walk, I could not hike, I could not swim, I could not ride my bike, I could not dance, made the whole list. And I said, what can I do?
Okay.
And laying flat on my back, it hurt to move a finger or a toe. I couldn't move for the longest time. And I thought, what can I do? Okay, I can prop my laptop and I can write. I can look up inspiring things, but I can also meditate more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a shamanic practitioner. I can go on journeys that freed my body.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
I love visualizing. It freed my body.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it quite right. I was free of my body. My mind could soar. I could dream, I could daydream. All the things they tell us not to do in school suddenly was my playground. And
Right. Right.
it's like, yes, we might have inabilities or disabilities because of whatever life deals us, but we can turn that around. I could not play. I was up until that time, I was performing classical flute every weekend. And suddenly,
Couldn't do
nothing,
it.
nothing. But
And
my husband,
I just want to say really quickly, I want to talk about what you just brought up. You talk about in school daydreaming. You're talking about, here's the thing, and I just want to mention this, and I want the audience to think about it too. And it's something, people sit on school boards. There's a lot of teachers out there. These are the principles that we need to teach our children right now, because they don't know these things. And this is why it's so important that you have this great book out, and that I do the show, and that a lot of people are out there, because these are things, and you said it several times here, you know, we need to teach the kids to connect with
yes.
the divine. Did you become more religious?
More spiritual, more
Okay.
spiritual.
Well,
I
connected, I guess I want
Present,
to say.
connected. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Because I had this time, I was still working, if you can believe it, because I could do grant
On your
writing,
laptop.
my laptop, I could still work.
It's
But
crazy.
I had more time to meditate and to connect with with source with angels, with, I mean,
Yeah.
I just felt like, you know, we talk about we are all one and we are connected to the divine. And I guess up until then, I felt it, but I didn't feel it nearly as deeply as I did when I just began to spend, I just doubled down on meditation and prayer and intention setting and all of that, and connecting to source and connecting to light.
Yeah.
And when we realize that we are, and again, this goes back to like the daydreaming. It's like I would daydream about just being high above the earth and looking down at my little life in bed and saying that is nothing. Like, you know, there's this big, you know, beautiful universe of energy, and we are all energy beings. And we are, I love what you said. I say this a lot. We are all creators. Our
Mhm.
words, our thoughts, our actions,
Mhm.
they create our reality. You know, people know it from you know, the law of attraction and the secret and all of that. But it's like we have to put that into practice.
Yeah.
We energy beings, everything is energy, and we create. And that's when I say make your mind your medicine, that's it right there. It's like we the energy we put out there. And when I stopped being negative and talking about how terrible it was, I could look at my life in a moment and say, in the presence of this moment, everything's wonderful. I'm surrounded by love and
Well, yeah,
healing.
that's why they say stay in the present moment. Because,
Exactly.
but right, because when you start, and I want to talk about a couple of the points you just made, and the audience knows this because I talk about it all the time, but
Yes,
it's so
I
nice
do.
to have an example of somebody who's done this.
Yeah.
You start to change your words. You don't
Yes.
say I'll never get better. You say
That's
I
right.
feel great, and I am riding my bike today. I am walking today. You make it
That's
in present tense and you change it up. But I
yep.
also want to go back to you connecting, because my biggest thing, and and the audience knows this, and it's so nice to hear you say it. Once you connect with that light, you can say God, creator, divine, vibration, love, whatever you want. Once you bring in that light every day, it's plugging in. It's
Yeah.
really plugging in. And once you can plug into that energy, it changes you tremendously. And I
Yeah.
feel like that was something that really changed you.
Oh, absolutely. And I have been a light worker for decades, and I consider myself a light worker in my practice and in my Reiki work and sound healing. This was a game changer, though,
Yeah.
going through this. And that's why I say it can be a portal to something else.
Yeah.
Game changer. I really began to live in the light of that
There you
every,
go.
I say every moment, but as we all know, we lapse. And but as for as much as I could, and way more than I had been, it's like
Hmm.
we go about our regular lives, but I learned to anchor and integrate it into my life, that if I went to the post office,
You were
you know,
still in the light.
post office, I'm in the light. If I'm
Yeah.
at the grocery store, if somebody is
Yeah.
honking at me in traffic, I'm in the light.
That's right.
And and seeing the world and everything from that place.
Perspective.
And it's
Yes.
great. It gives you great compassion and empathy for people and ourselves. It gives
And
us
comfort. Comfort.
incredible comfort
Yeah.
and self-love and self-care and all the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm just so glad that you're talking about this, because I talk about it all the time. But to have
Yes.
somebody who went through what you've gone through and to say, yes, it made a difference means a lot. So what are you doing today? I'm just curious. So what's going on? Are you walking? Are you riding your bike? What's happening?
Okay. I haven't mastered riding the bike yet because
Okay.
it strains my back in a tremendous way. But I walk. I walk. We live on a mountain in a forest, and
Okay.
our backyard has trees in it. It's a small backyard, but it has trees in it. And I go out and I walk and I commune with nature, and I talk to the trees, and I sing and I hum. Singing and humming in terms
Yes.
of sound, as you know, are incredibly healing because they stimulate the vagus nerve. So I spend a lot of time in nature.
Yeah.
um I have I do all the stuff. I will never go on hikes in the mountains. um like I did, for 6 or 8 hours. I mean, my doctors tell me, even my most positive doctors tell me that's not in the
Too much.
cards. And,
Right.
and look, but look here, another chapter in the book is acceptance. I had to come to the point of radical acceptance to say to myself, there are some things I'll never horseback ride again. It's way too high impact for my spine. And that's okay. I'm good with that. But I
Mm.
do plenty of other things in my life. Like I'm really into sound healing. There was a time when I could not sit on the floor and play my gong. The gong is the most healing of all the instruments. You asked earlier, what things helped you. Sound
Yeah.
healing is huge, but
Yeah.
my gong, because the gong has all the frequencies and
I
it
did not know that.
tells. Yes, isn't that fascinating?
Yes, it really
It
is.
is
I
the
have,
most
I've
healing
got the
of the
singing, I've got the Tibetan bowls up here, but I don't use
yes, I
those
see
very
them.
much. I have a crystal bowl that I use and an F sharp, but I would like to have every one, but of course that would be crazy. But
And it doesn't even, you don't even
but to
need
have,
support to start.
but to have something that put all the frequency would be really cool, is what I wanted to
It's
say.
the gong, I'm telling you. And that was a game changer for me. It's
I
relatively
love it.
new in my sound healing. And the reason
Okay.
why it works is there's a guy out of UCLA, James Jimzewski, and my teacher, sonic scientist, John Stewart Reed. They're working with medical researchers on why sound works, and
Yeah.
hospitals and nursing homes are integrating sound into their integrated therapy departments. And so the big news about this is not even published new science. That's, it's on its way to being published in journals, but they've discovered that every cell in our body, by grouping like heart cells, brain cells, they have different frequencies.
Right.
And when they get atrophied or are dying or ill, diseased, they stop singing. They sing. The cells sing, and their instruments in the labs can pick up that sound.
Mhm.
What reactivates them to becoming healthy is when they receive that frequency that
Right.
is frequency. So if it's a heart cell, and you use that particular frequency on it, then that begins, and they're finding they watch the blood cells in a petri dish come to life,
Right. Right.
brain
Right.
cells. And so when I say the gong has the biggest range of frequencies, it hits all of everything in our body.
That
But
is
I
so
really
cool.
had a moment when I was healing amazingly. And again, it's amazingly, but it's now been, quite a lot of years. But there, a couple of years ago, it was this real accelerated healing when I started working with the gong. I could not sit on the floor to play my gong. It's a big gong, 34 inches. I could not do that for the longest time. And it wasn't a matter of stretching or being more,
Yeah.
limber or anything like that, because I'd always done yoga my whole life. I knew how to do it. And I attribute it to the gong. And I do my Tibetan bowls, even if it's for 1 minute a day, or I'll
Do
just
you?
chant.
I need to do that. I need to do that.
Yeah.
I want to stop you a second. And I just want to say you're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. I am an intuitive and I've interviewed a lot of people, and I believe we are going to heal people with sound. And I believe people are already being healed with sound. But
Yes, I
what
do.
really shocked me, I had a guy, and I don't know if you said you watched some of my shows. I can't think of his
Yeah.
name. He was on my show. And he told me that out of all the tuning forks and the crystal bowls and all of these things, the most healing thing is your own voice.
Oh, yes. Jonathan
And
Goldman talks about this.
yes,
Yes.
and that really made a lot of sense to me, because it's that vibration. You're healing yourself with your own voice, and that's why affirmations work. And that's why,
Yes.
yes, all of that. It's
And
just
and it's
really
also
interesting.
humming and singing. It's why it works. The best thing we can do is sing. I love that you brought this up, Nancy, because this is one of those free and easy things that every person can do. You only need a few minutes. And the reason why it works is our ear. Okay, so two reasons. When we hum, it stimulates the vagus nerve that runs. It's called the wandering nerve. It runs through our body. It regulates heartbeat, blood pressure, breathing, all the important stuff that we don't think about. And so humming and singing stimulate the vagus nerve. There's one more thing, though, that the ear is connected to all of your internal organs and via the vagus nerve. And so this being able to hum and sing, especially in your own voice, you're getting the benefit of that, but you're also hearing your own voice. And somebody recently said, and I cannot remember who said this, it was one of my teachers said, when you hum and sing and you're picking that up in your ear, you're not only stimulating your vagus nerve, you're picking it up in your ear, and it's like massaging each of your internal organs. And
Yes.
I thought, how cool is that? It's so simple. And when you think about other cultures,
Yeah.
you know, the woman you had on your show who talked about the bee priestesses of ancient times in
Yeah.
Greece and all, they played frame drum and they sang. And
Right.
like, that's just one culture. It's been embedded in all of our ancestors' practices.
They
You know,
all drummed and they all sang and they all
they all
danced.
sang. And it
Yeah,
was
that's
healing.
true.
And like, we forget that. Like we say, oh, I can't sing. I have so many clients who say, oh no, I can't sing. I can't sing. No, you don't want to hear me sing. It's like, it's not how well you sing. It is that you do it.
You
It's
sing.
that you
You know,
sing.
yeah, I was lucky. My mom was a singer. And
Mine too.
honest to God, yeah, my mom was a singer. And so through my whole childhood, she sang.
Yeah.
And so you had the same experience. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
we learned all the songs. And so I find myself singing. Now, I know it's interesting because I've been through a lot of stuff like everybody does. And then all of a sudden I'll catch myself humming. And when I catch myself humming, I know I'm really happy.
Oh,
Yeah, because if you notice, if you go to the store, if you go to the wherever office, wherever you're out in the world, you don't see people hum very often. But
you
when you
don't.
do see somebody humming, you notice it and they're happy.
Yes.
Isn't
That
that
is the truth.
interesting? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I just agree with everything you're saying. I just think that, I want to go back a little bit and talk about you did have cabin fever. You did go through
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing. And I wondered if you address that a little bit, just so people can kind
Yeah.
of, how did you get past it? Because there are people who are bedridden right now. I
There
actually
are.
have a neighbor who was in a car accident and she's bedridden, and that would be difficult. Did you watch movies? I mean, how did you get past that feeling of, isolation, I guess, is
Yeah. The isolation. And as we know, isolation's a real killer. It's like it's real easy when you're isolated to become depressed and
mm,
hopeless, right? And so the key is reaching out. I watch movies some. My husband and I love to watch movies, but I think more than that, I decided that I had to curate my life. I had to really curate my life. I had to be careful what I watched. It would be so easy to
right?
watch a movie or the news, and I just said, I'm taking a break from the news. I read the headlines in the LA Times and some other papers, and I was like, that's all I need to know right now, because I was in a bad enough place on
Mm,
my own that it would have been really easy to get extremely depressed, um, just by what was going on in the world then and now, of course.
right.
It's important to curate your life. And so that's on a couple levels. Like first, I would curate, what I watched on my computer. And it was that because I could not get to the living room for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And so I curated that. I spent time talking to friends, and I am blessed with the most amazing friends. They didn't give up on me.
Oh,
And they were there for me, and they always seemed to call when I really needed them, and they were there when I needed them and called them as well. And then to ask for help. Like sometimes I just needed a friend to come
help
and
you.
bring a bag of groceries for my husband so he could make us salads or something, and just sit with me for 20 minutes or half an hour, just so I had some, contact with someone.
Interaction. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so there was that. And then the other side of that is making the room that you are in your sanctuary. And I write about this in the book. It is all about like when it became clear after about 5 months that I was not getting out of the bedroom, right? My husband said, what can I bring you? Like what do we need to do here? And that's what he
Mhm.
said, bring my Native American flute. I can't play my classical flute, but I can play my Native American flute.
Cool.
Bring my frame drum, because I could put it on my stomach and just like, it wasn't the proper way to play, but I could do it. He brought candles and essential oils and
Mhm.
just set up like this little sanctuary
Sanctuary.
in my
Yeah.
bedroom where everything was in reach,
Yeah.
and and it sounds silly, but it made all the difference. And cards, friends sent me cards. So,
Mm.
he put them all over like tables and everything so that they were right there within sight for me, because I couldn't get up and do that myself. And
Mm.
so he brought things to me. I have crystals. I love crystals. He brought crystals, put them close to the bed so I
Oh,
put
cool.
them nearby. I look behind you and I see like that everything that you have curated in your space behind you has meaning to you, right? It
Yes. Yes.
uplifts you. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like
Yeah.
that in our bedroom. We have,
And I probably got too much stuff back there.
never too
Well,
much.
but yes, I get it because, well, the crystals have power and your drum helped you and,
Yeah,
the cards helped you. And I think that's wonderful.
yeah,
You were lucky. You were very fortunate that you have such a wonderful husband that was there to help you to do a lot of
absolutely.
these things and the friends that helped you. It's changed your life, I can tell. Now, when did the book actually come out?
Last year in
Okay.
May. So
Okay.
it's been out for a year and a half now. Yeah.
How has it done? Talk to me about the book and how has it changed and what have you heard from different people?
Yeah, what I've heard from different people is the most amazing part. Like, you have to understand that when I start getting these downloads, like I'd just be like, this is when I was, getting better, and I would just get these downloads of a chapter, and it's like, and I'd pull out a little notebook, and I wouldn't even write in my computer. It's like, oh, I'll just take some notes, and I wrote them down.
Yeah.
Then it became clear it was a book, and I thought, if I help one person with this, that's going to be great. Maybe I'll just give it to my mom or somebody, and it'll just be helping one person. And then I realized and found a publisher and all that. And I realized, I think it'll help more people than this. When I published it, and then people began telling me, your book has changed my life, or
Mhm.
it helped my father. I bought your book from my father, or a best friend or whatever. And it's changing their life. They were in a really bad place, or they didn't know. I have a chapter in there on being super sleuthy about like, how do you figure out like what complementary medicine to do? Or
Mhm.
there's a chapter on pain management. And people say that saved me. And so those words were so encouraging. The book, when I did my launch, it was number 7 on Amazon, and I was just thrilled by that. And so, but the best part is being able to go and podcast like yours and write articles. I write a lot of articles, and
Okay.
some of them are on my website, but it's like I write about this stuff, and especially sound healing, because that has been so transformative for me
Mhm.
over decades of time,
Mhm.
that I just want to share the good stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and people are, it's really no pun intended, resonating with people, and they're finding the goodness in it. And so, yeah, that part has been amazing and has been beyond my dreams. Like, I didn't set out, oh, I think I'll just want to do podcasts and articles so I'll write a book. It wasn't that at all. It was very accidental. I never set out to write a book, but it's
Well,
been
it's
a
very
beautiful.
good. It's very
Yeah,
good. I will tell you, and I want the audience to know it is very good. And here, let me give some of your
thank you.
information. Yeah, I want to say that I interview a lot of people. Suffering to Thriving is the name of it. Your toolkit for navigating your healing journey. It is by Kathy with a K, Harmon-Luber. Her website is sufferingtothriving.com. Now, can people ask you questions there, Kathy, if they go to your
Yes, they
website?
can. In
Okay.
fact, at my website, they can connect with other articles. I've written a number of articles on sound healing if anyone wants to take a deeper
Oh,
dive.
I do.
Oh, good. There's a great article in Yoga Magazine. It's one of 3.
Okay.
There's another on intuition and another on the healing journey.
Okay.
But there are some articles there, and people can connect to me via all my social media. You can connect via my website, and uh, I on YouTube I have started doing these little kind of moments of peace, 1 or 2 minutes of just spontaneous, intuitive sound actually with my frame drum or just singing a spontaneous melody. And as a
Right.
classical musician, you got to do things rather perfectly. I play a lot of Baroque music, but also rock and roll, but lots of things. But you have to play it right. This is the opposite of that. This is all about, I'll be out at nature. I was at the lake last month, and I just, I was really moved by songs of peace, and I just began vocalizing, singing a little bit, a mantra, and playing my frame drum, and they're just really spontaneous. But the idea behind it is, and like you, the bowls and the Zephyr chimes I also like to use. The idea behind it is everyone can use like a 1 or 2 minute reset, a moment of peace in your day. And sound can be the perfect reset. Like I know if I'm very stressed out about something, I just go and chime one of my singing bowls, and it's like, okay, I'm feeling a little better, and I'm feeling that connection to source, and yeah, okay, I'm back to myself. It's that kind of a thing. So I
Yeah.
started offering that. I'm going to do more of that. And
That's
then
cool.
soon, I have partnered with a doctor of internal medicine, Dr. Charlize Davis.
Okay.
We're doing a free module called Heal Your Heart Chakra.
Mm.
And it's a very robust, lots of things. And I give a sound bath at the end. And people can go to my website and connect for notification about when that's live. And so that'll be a free offering to all of your listeners.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you, Kathy. I just want to say too, if you have, just so people know, and I think I've mentioned this before to the audience, but I've done this recently. If you have an ailment, and you can Google the sound to heal my eye, or sound to heal my
That's right.
arthritis, or sound to heal my heart, whatever the case may be. And
Yes.
you will get that sound, and you just have to sit and listen to it. And it's really interesting. I just want to mention that because people can do that, and it's cool.
Absolutely.
I totally believe in the work that you're doing, and I'm so glad that you came to join us today. You guys, her website is sufferingtothriving.com. And Kathy, I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us. It's been a
Thanks.
pleasure to have you.
It's been a joy. I love our conversation. It's been really great.
Thanks
Thank you
for
so much.
coming. Hey, you
Yeah.
guys, a couple things I want to mention before I get out of here today. I will be in LA in February 9th through the 12th at the Conscious Life Expo 2024. And I'm going to do a workshop on angels, connecting with your guardian angels and spiritual law. Then you can also see me if you're in Florida. I'll be at the Boca Deerfield Beach New Life Expo 2024. And I will be speaking again about angels and spiritual law and connecting. So come and see me. I've just relaunched Wake Up. The universe is speaking to you. So you guys can check that out, learn about energy. And I just finished my angel book. So we'll get it out there as quick. It'd probably take a year, but we'll get it out there to you guys. But I want to thank everyone for watching and supporting. And everyone take care. Have a fabulous week, and God bless.
Hold your head high, the world is coming. Watch the colors lift your soul. Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit